What's up, digital nomads? So you like the idea of moving to Bali, maybe paying off some debt and increasing your income. Well, right now, I interview a total pro, an Amazon e-commerce expert, Danny Carlson, who's done all of the above. He moved to Bali, he grew his agency to almost 15 people, and he is living his dream life. My name is Andrew, and this is Digital Nomad Journey, where we support digital nomads, remote workers, and location-independent people wanting to live the laptop lifestyle. I am obsessed with bringing the very best content for all of you location-independent enthusiasts out there. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video to support us, and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified of future videos. Now check this out. Right on, Danny. Thank you so much for being here. Danny Carlson is an Amazon e-commerce expert specializing in pay-per-click management and listing optimization. He founded the agency Kenji ROI in 2016 and has grown it to more than 10 team members. Kenji ROI has served over 638 brands in all categories with product photography, video, copywriting, Amazon SEO, and Amazon pay-per-click management services, and has produced well over 1,355 Amazon product listings. Danny is also the host of the Actualized Freedom podcast, Amazon FBA, and the Danny Carlson podcast, Building Agencies, Mindset, and Lifestyle. Completing more than 100 interviews. I'm on my way there right now. Residing in Bali, his off time is spent training hand-on-hand aerobatics, ripping sport motorcycles, and speaking at business events. Danny, welcome to Digital Nomad Journey.
Oh, great to be on here, Andrew. Always love chatting with awesome entrepreneurs like yourself.
Hey, likewise. So why don't we start things off with telling everyone where you are right now? How's the Wi-Fi? How's the food? How's the weather? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Bali. So I'm in the kind of trendy digital nomad place called Canggu, which is it's a great little beachside town, essentially really famous for surfing, kind of just outside of the major touristy area of Bali. And it feels just like a little surfside town. So like we live in this villa with like a rice field over on our back balcony, and can be in the beach in a couple minutes. The co-working space is a few minutes away from the beach, and lots of great restaurants and all the good stuff here in Bali, including a good entrepreneurship community, which is really important, I think.
I gotta get my butt out there. I mean, the joys of technology have allowed this to happen, and both of us being digital nomads, it's kind of crazy. I am in Canada. I had to return to Canada recently because my passport was going to expire. I had no choice. And now I'm kind of stuck here because it's a little difficult booking flights and whatnot. So I'm envious, my friend. I just woke up, jumped off the elliptical, and now I get to interview you in Bali. This is incredible. So for the viewers that aren't familiar with you and your story, why don't you take us right back to the beginning of your journey? What were your initial steps? How did you get involved with Amazon? What made you decide to move to Bali? Bring us back to the beginning.
Yeah, so right in the very beginning, I mean, what really got me into this whole online business world was, I think it was The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss was the book that really opened my mind to it. And that was maybe a few years before I actually started my business. It was kind of mind blowing that by the concept that you could have a business that was location independent and really didn't rely on you just pumping in your hours and then pumping dollars out of those hours, right? It was independent of your time for money. So that just opened my eyes to it. And I started listening to different podcasts about online business, and it was just so amazing to me. But at the time I was still working as a carpenter, and pretty much all my money was going into traveling the world to go longboard racing, which I made a little bit of money doing that as well as a professional, but professional longboard racers don't really make very much money, as it turns out. So I would usually spend about half the year working as a carpenter and half the year traveling and doing longboarding things. But it wasn't until I was in the Philippines 5 years ago now, and I was competing in a longboard race there, and I had a near-death experience that just really forced me to take a look at the direction I was going in my life. And I almost had a head-on collision with a motorcycle as I was racing my longboard down the hill at maybe 70 kilometers an hour, and motorcycle coming up the opposite direction at 50 or 60 kilometers an hour. I had to jump and dive off my board to miss this head-on collision. So, and it would have been bad too. I was on this remote island called Sikihor, and it was like probably about 12 hours to the nearest hospital from there in the Philippines. So not such a great situation, but it was, looking back on it, it was great because it forced me to just really take a hard look at my life direction. And I just realized I didn't want to continue working as a carpenter doing those cycles of working hard, 6 months carpentry, and then going traveling in a van. And traveling in a van and longboarding was great, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do 10 years from that point, right? And just barely making enough money to live in a van. So, yeah, I immediately, as soon as I got back from that trip, I made up my mind before I even got back to Canada that I was going to just start an Amazon business. That was just one of the things that I heard about on these podcasts, and I just made the decision. And even though I wasn't that confident that that was the right one to go with, I just had to go with it because of my crazy epiphany moment that I had in the Philippines. So got back and just dove into it really hardcore. And I was listening to podcasts while I was working as a carpenter and just learning as much as I possibly could, investing in courses and things like that. And about 6 months later, I had my first products getting into Amazon and launching. And it actually went quite well to begin. And over the first 6 months, I had built it up to a point where we're doing about $40,000 per month revenue, and we're reinvesting in a lot of new products. And then I got hit with my first real major business setback. So I got my Amazon account suspended at exactly the point that I'd reinvested in, a bunch of new products and made some big consolidation shipments of inventory and things like that. So my cash was stretched so thin. In fact, overnight, I essentially went from $40,000 a month revenue to $20,000 in debt. So it was a real big gut check moment for myself. And luckily for me at the time, I had kind of had the beginning of Kenji ROI agency, which is what you see in the background over here. I basically have been doing that, but just as a freelancer, creating Amazon listings for other Amazon sellers that I knew. So I was faced with the hard decision. Do I go back to working as a carpenter and just try to pay off this $20,000 debt, which as a carpenter that would have taken a while. Carpenters don't make a whole lot of money. And you work really hard for your money. So I decided to just go all in on my agency and just grow that. And I really didn't know what I was doing. And to be honest, the first couple of years of doing that, I struggled a lot. I just made a bunch of dumb mistakes that if I just actually started investing in mentors sooner, I would have figured it out a lot sooner. But essentially here we are 4 years later now. And I think we're onboarding our 14th or 15th team member tomorrow, actually. And then, it's pretty cool to see the difference between me working as a carpenter and what Kenji ROI is now.
Wow. Incredible origin story. Thank you for sharing that. And more often than not, pain seems to be the stronger motivating factor to force people to take action. And you clearly experienced a lot of pain multiple times. So now you've shifted your focus. You're still involved with Amazon, but you've shifted focus from doing FBA to copywriting with your agency and growing and expanding your agency and helping all these Amazon FBA customers, fulfillment by Amazon customers. You touched on courses and you touched on getting a mentor to shorten that learning curve, decades into days, they say. What can a digital nomad do? What if someone wants to move to Bali and follow this model? Success leaves clues. You've achieved an amazing amount of success. What does the new digital nomad, the new remote worker, the new expat that has to break free of their current environment? What course do they go for? What mentor can they find?
I mean, I think a lot of that really depends on, who you are as a person. So myself, I'm an adrenaline junkie, right? I used to be a professional downhill skateboard racer and risking my life every day by choice and for fun. So when it comes to my risk tolerance and business, I was, as you could guess, on the very risk tolerant side of things. And, there was points when I was growing my agency where I put the payroll for the team on a personal credit card. That's how strapped for cash we were. So a lot of people just are not going to be up for that kind of, stressful situation or gut-wrenching situation. Maybe you want to take things a little bit more conservatively, right? And for a lot of people, that's definitely the right path. But if you're someone who is up for it, that's a faster way to learn the mistakes you're going to need to learn in order to get to where you want to go. So ultimately, I think you have to ask yourself, one, really, how are you up for just jumping in and getting all crazy, or do you want to take things a little bit more slowly and safely? And then two, where do you actually want to go? Do you want to make $50,000 a year and just go travel in Thailand and go do this traveling and live off a smaller amount of money? Or do you want to make $100,000 a year or $1 million a year and then own some cool properties and do a bunch of really cool things, right? So if you know where you are on that spectrum, then you know probably what you have to do. And for me, I'm on the higher end of that spectrum. I have a goal of no smaller than $1 million a year, because I want to do some really cool things and own some really awesome properties and do like really expensive hobbies like racing motorcycles and things like that, which is a very expensive hobby. So I have to do more aggressive things to achieve that. There's lots of people here in Bali that they have a really cool freelancing business where they don't really have to work more than 30 hours a week, and they can make well more than the amount of money that they need to live a good, comfortable life here in Bali and do fun things and the things that they want to do. And so it would be pointless for them to go through things like trying to scale an agency with 15 team members and putting the payroll on a credit card and all this crazy stuff, because it's just not conducive with the kind of goals that they want to achieve. So, I mean, the answer is going to be different for everyone, but if I could really sum it up into one key thing that probably is the most important thing, it's finding the right mentor for what you want to achieve. So I've hired a lot of different mentors, taken a lot of different courses, and some of them were not the right fit. They had achieved something that was really cool and really impressive, but it was not where I wanted to grow my company and where I wanted to build my life, right? And so I ended up spending a whole bunch of money and time and effort to learn something that really wasn't applicable. But then I've also hired mentors who they built like exactly a similar agency to me, and they're just at the next level. And it was like I could have paid 10 times as much for that mentorship, and it would have paid for itself, So if you can find the right mentor for what you want to do, and you know exactly what you want to do, then that's just going to get you there so much faster.
Getting clear in your goals and finding that mentor that is at that level above you, maybe not slightly above you, maybe not way ahead of you, but finding that comfortable range. I like that. Good insights there. So you've been doing this a while. What are some of the common challenges that you see people coming across, and what can they do to overcome those challenges and achieve success in spite of these obstacles they're facing?
Yeah, I mean, the number one biggest one, I think, and people hear this all the time. This is nothing new, but I got a little bit of a different spin on it, is just getting in your own way as far as self-belief. So this was a big one that I continue to work on, to be honest. It's just believing that you can do it, right? At every stage in your growth, whether that's making your first $1,000 in a month, or whether it's making your first 10,000 in a month or 100,000 a month, there's all of these mental barriers that get in the way of, oh, can I actually do this? Can I actually reach this milestone? And then once you actually can get rid of that block, that only then can you really get past that block, right? Like for the longest time, I just thought that, a certain revenue level, it's like, oh, this is just such a huge amount of money. Like, how could I ever get there? We're already working so hard. And it's not going to happen. And I would just do all of these things, except for the things that actually would break me through to that barrier. So to get through to the next level of wherever you are requires you to have a bigger set of thinking. So I'll give you a real life example. Like for us to break through, we're stuck the longest at about $20,000 per month. We had a good team and everything like that, but I was just blocking us from getting to the next level because I was in a more scarcity mindset. I didn't believe that $50,000 a month was going to be easy. I thought it was going to be twice as hard, but really all I had to do, and we've blasted past that barrier now, is really just let go of a lot of the stuff that I was holding on to, just hire a few more team members, and honestly get rid of some of the team members that were holding people back, and just like really letting go of the stuff that I was holding a death grip on, because I thought that is what was driving the company and that's what was keeping the company up. But really, I was just getting in the way. So, and I just had to change the way that I was looking at the company and believe that if I believe that $50,000 a month is easy, then it becomes easier. Literally becomes easier if you believe it, because then you're going to make the actual decisions that will make it happen instead of just thinking that, oh, this is so hard, so I should probably do this thing, and now I got to do this thing, and now we got to do this thing, when really all you have to do is like, yeah, I'm going to hire this one person and then stop just screwing up everything for all the other team members,
I like that, man. Yeah, BS will get you every time, right? It's that old belief system. It's mindset. It always comes back to that, the basics every time. So, what are some of the regular rituals and routines that you deploy in your daily ritual, your lifestyle? I know you and I have a similar outlook on life as far as self development, and your business is only going to, you're the bottleneck of your business, right? And so, do you have any regular daily routines that you attribute to your success that you would say everyone's got to consider this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you two examples. So on the personal level, and then I'll give you an example on the team level if you have team members working for you, on any level, one team member or it doesn't matter how many. So on the personal level, I do religiously. I go to the gym at least 5 days a week, usually 6 days a week, and I'll be straight up honest with you guys. I hate going to the gym. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it like some people do. It's just like I just hate being there. I hate lifting weights. And I push myself really hard and it sucks. And then I go into the sauna after for 8 minutes and it's an incredibly hot sauna and it sucks. I don't like it. I stay in there much longer than I enjoy it. And then I go into the ice bath for 3 minutes after, which is really cold. And again, it's really terrible. But what the benefit that I get from all that is obviously it's healthy for you and you feel good from that. But more so than that, it's the discipline muscle that's really being built. So if I can do that on a consistent basis, then I have a very clear difference in my ability to do the hard things that I don't want to do in my business, to push through stressful situations, to do all those things, because I've noticed that if I get in a habit of skipping those things, YouTube becomes so much more appealing. Instagram becomes like very hard to stay off of. All those things, like the second something gets hard or difficult, then your brain's just gonna go open up your phone and go on YouTube. That's just like the world we live in right now. You're one swipe away from just, making things not hard anymore by going on YouTube and watching videos instead. So that's the discipline muscle. That's very important for me on the personal level. And then on the team level, one of the most impactful things, if not the most impactful thing, has been really just investing in all of the team members. And for the first 2 years of my business, I would say I really did not do enough of this and like at all. And I spend so much more time on this now. And investing in team members could be training. So it could be one-on-one trainings, it could be group trainings, but it's also just investing in that relationship with your team members, making sure that they have a good work environment. If their job is full of things that are stupid and they don't like doing, you got to make sure that they feel good expressing that to you so you can fix it for them and they have a great work environment. Every Friday we do we call it Friday happy hour, and we all hang out on our daily meeting for longer than normal and just talk about other random stuff that is not work related. And we just kind of get to know each other a little bit better, and just investing in that team culture, investing in the training, and investing in each team member to make sure that they actually enjoy what they're doing. They're happy with their role and the different tasks, and you can pass things around between each other so they're all happy with what they're doing. That is, that's how you really gain leverage in a business like mine, in an agency, because at the end of the day, an agency's leverage is the people. Maybe a software company is a little bit different where, your software actually builds massive leverage, but agencies are all about the people. So that's a huge, huge thing right there.
That makes a lot of sense. You're dropping some gold for us here today. I mean, come on, belief system, love that, and investing in your people. Anyone considering an agency, I think that's some solid advice there. So if you're enjoying this interview, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I am obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed with getting all the best experts and content for digital nomads and remote workers and all you location independent enthusiasts out there. Smash that bell icon as well, and you get notified when I publish more content in the future and more experts like Danny. So what's one thing that you wish you knew before moving to Bali, before taking on I acknowledge and applaud anyone that has the discipline to start mastering a new skill while they're a carpenter, while they're doing their 9 to 5, while they're doing the job that they hate or working for the boss that they hate. You felt motivated and took action. What's the one thing that you wish you knew before in those early days? Because for that new digital nomad watching this video right now, I want them to get that unfair advantage. And I know you're the guy to give it to them.
Yeah, maybe one thing I wish I knew. I actually wish I did it sooner, because there's a kind of effect that happens when you go move overseas that you find a place like Bali where you just really vibe with all the people here, you just love the location and everything about it, you just really love the place, then at all costs, you're going to do whatever it takes to not have to go move back home and go take that other job that you don't want to do or whatever. So it's kind of like the burning the boats principle. The Vikings land on the place they're going to conquer. They burn their ships, and that's their only path forward. So a similar thing happens when you just put yourself on the other side of the planet and just, it's a big barrier to go move back home. And if you go move back home because your business is not working out or because you ran out of money or something, that just feels like a massive failure, right? And that's like a big fear of a lot of the people in Bali that are, they're getting the business figured out and off the ground. It's a big motivator. It's a huge, huge motivator. It was for me. At a certain point, it was it just feels like not an option to go back and go get a carpentry job again, right? After you've invested so much time and so much resources into building this thing, you're just going to figure out a way to make it work. So I kind of wish that I had known that sooner and just did it a little bit sooner and taken advantage of that extra little ass kicking that can force you to make it happen.
I like it that very much. I know we're running out of time here, Danny. So before we get going, I got two last questions here for you. Not all heroes wear capes. I love this question. Not all heroes wear capes. I'm a bit of a comic book geek myself. And so if you could clarify for the person watching this video, who is the ideal person that you would like to be a hero to? If there's that personality type or that struggling person out there that you want to just, if you could just reach out through the screen and help that individual, who is that person?
Yeah, without a doubt, that's the person who they know that they want to do something bigger, but they just don't believe they can do it. So that was me, right? That was me at different points in my life for sure. And I mean, I just love my life so much right now. Like, I have an amazing girlfriend. I have an awesome business. I live in exactly where I want to live, and just so many things are going good. And it's just so interesting to think back to those points where I just did not believe in myself. I knew I wanted to do something really amazing, but I just didn't believe in myself enough to do it, and revert to the YouTube and all those kind of things. So I would just, if I could be a hero to one type of person, it would be that person who just they know they're meant for something better, but they just don't have the confidence that it can be developed and it can be done.
I love it. And anyone who wants to learn more about Kenji ROI or Danny, where do they go?
Yeah, KenjiROI.com is the Amazon agency that I have, or DannyCarlson.co is my personal website. There's more information about me there, and if you guys want to reach out to me, that would be the best place.
Fantastic. And for any of the links or resources we discussed in this video, I'll include them in the YouTube description below, so don't worry about that. Danny, thank you so much for being on Digital Nomad Journey.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Andrew.
Right on. So if there's anything I got out of this chat, and I hope you got out of it from watching this interview as well, it's creation versus consumption, and creation is going to get you ahead every single time. Not that watching YouTube videos isn't going to help you, but you can push it a little too far if you go down that rabbit hole. So my name is Andrew. This is Digital Nomad Journey. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And you might want to check out these videos here because YouTube seems to think that you're going to enjoy them as well. Own the day, make it yours. Take care.